People watching a soccer match between Brazil and Serbia through the window of an appliance store in São Paulo, Brazil, before the 2014 World Cup. Leila de Almeida for The New York Times, London. Investigations over the past few years by United States and Swiss law enforcement officials into corruption in global soccer have exposed dozens of people and companies that, according to prosecutors, conspired to illegally reap profits from broadcasting and sponsorship deals tied to the sport's biggest events. One company, never named in any of the charging documents, but referred to obliquely, is a little-known entity based in the canton of Zug in Switzerland, Mountrigi Management Group, a three-person operation that illustrates how some of the biggest deals at the top of the world's most popular sport were put together. Mountrigi, which borrows its name from Switzerland's Mount Rigi, also known as the Queen of the Mountains and as the muse for a series of paintings by the famed British watercolorist J.M.W. Turner, quietly amassed exclusive broadcast rights to the World Cup in much of the Americas, from Mexico down to Argentina, through 2030. Ordinarily, such rights deals are announced publicly after a formal bid process, but not on this occasion. Details of the unusual arrangement first appeared in a plea agreement involving a company charged in the United States' sprawling soccer investigation, and emerged again when the Swiss authorities this month accused FIFA's former top administrator of accepting bribes in return for lucrative TV contracts. "I've been following the sector for 18 years and had never heard of it," Frank Dunn, the editor of the respected industry newsletter TV Sports Markets, said about Mountrigi Management Group. In much of the Americas, soccer is followed with religious-like devotion, making Mountrigi's 16-nation contract extremely lucrative. Yet until the global corruption inquiries, many people working in the industry had little knowledge of the tiny company that appears to have struck gold with FIFA. United States law enforcement officials helped reveal that Mountrigi is a wholly owned subsidiary of the giant Mexican television network, Grupo Televisa. Mountrigi paid about $190 million for the 2018 and 2022 World Cups, Dunn said. The contracts for the 2026 and 2030 tournaments probably cost more, but much less than they would be worth today. Since the agreement, FIFA's new leadership has announced that the World Cup will be expanded to 48 teams from 32 in 2026, and that the tournament will most likely be staged jointly in the United States, Mexico and Canada. Most of FIFA's top management was removed in the aftermath of the corruption scandal, the biggest crisis since FIFA's creation 113 years ago. Current officials of the organization, which is based in Zurich, have refused to make public the details of the arrangement with Mountrigi. Mountrigi and Televisa both declined to comment. Mountrigi was supported in its dealings with FIFA by Alejandro Burzaco, an Argentine businessman, according to several people with knowledge of the negotiations who requested anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. Burzaco last year pleaded guilty to bribing soccer officials so that the company he ran would be awarded rights to the biggest regional tournaments. The company, Torneos y Competencias, also pleaded guilty, and agreed to pay $112.8 million to settle the case. Nasser Al-Khelaifi, right, leaving the prosecutor's office in Bern, Switzerland, on Wednesday. Khelaifi, who is the Paris Saint-Germain Soccer Club's chairman, has denied allegations that he bribed a FIFA official for World Cup media rights. Fabrice Coffrini, Agence France-Presse, Getty Imaging Corp. Papers related to Torneos' guilty plea. Prosecutors said an affiliate of a major broadcasting company headquartered in Latin America had helped to pay millions in bribes to get the rights in Argentina, Paraguay and Uruguay for the next 4 World Cups. Mountrigi, the Televisa affiliate, was awarded those rights and immediately sold them to Burzaco. Burzaco had over the years funneled millions of dollars in bribes to Julio Grondona, who was responsible for FIFA's Finance Committee and was one of its most powerful leaders until his death in 2014. Televisa said last year that neither its employees nor those of Mountrigi had ever paid any bribes nor any kickback to FIFA officials related to the acquisition of rights. The rights in question are also under scrutiny in Switzerland, where a statement from the Attorney General's office said an unnamed businessman had bribed FIFA's former Secretary General Jerome Valcke in return for the award of media rights for certain countries at the FIFA World Cups in 2018, 2022, 2026 and 2030. Mountrigi's rights, and those it sold to Torneos, are the only ones that match those described in the Swiss complaint. Niklas Eriksson, the FIFA executive responsible for its television division at the time, did not respond to a request for comment. Berzacco's lawyer, Sean Casey, declined to comment when asked if his client was the unnamed businessman accused in Switzerland. The Swiss Attorney General's office said it could not comment. The Swiss also accused the Qatari businessman Nasser Al-Khelaifi, who is the Paris Saint-Germain soccer club's chairman, of bribing Valk in return for a separate package of rights to the 2026 and 2030 World Cups. Khelaifi, who denies the allegations, met with prosecutors on Wednesday. The United States has charged more than 40 individuals and businesses with a range of corruption-related crimes, and it has also brought to light details of sports rights deals that had traditionally been secured behind the scenes with little outside scrutiny. Since a powerful group of Brazilian and Argentine businessmen was exposed, some of the world's largest sports rights companies, including WME-IMG and Lagardère Sports and Entertainment, have been able to enter a market that had been closed to them for decades. Beyond the rights it sold to Torneos as part of the agreement with Berzacco, Montargis has not signed deals in any of the other territories it has for the 2026 and 2030 events. That means the company can reap greater than planned profits from the expanded World Cup and a possible United States-led tournament in 2026. For FIFA, which is reliant on the quadrennial World Cup for more than 90% of its income of more than $5 billion, the deal might bring regret. They've expanded the World Cup and have got no chance of tapping into incremental value in all of the areas where that value is likely to have a large increase, Dunn said. Follow Tariq Panya on Twitter at Tariq Panya.